Hi. 2 weeks ago, I made updates, and now there are so many updates related to AI and large language models. So I decided to make this presentation. So first is an opinion. Well, it was in May. Some Google engineer or engineers wrote a memo which was leaked. The main idea is that open source AI models are faster, more customizable, more private, and pound to pound more capable than that of big companies like Google and so on. So uh, the idea is that open source models will win against big players, although maybe they don't agree, but this is an opinion. So here, if you go on huggingface.core um, and look for leaderboard for large language models. So this is today. You see 346 models as of today. These are top 10. You see on the very top is a Falcon model with 40 billion parameters. And this is just the list of all the names of all the models, 346. A week ago, it was like 150. So the number of the models grows very fast. So this is about Falcon 40B. It was created by an Arabic team from Technology Innovation Institute in United Arab Emirates. And this is the lead of the team, Dr. Ebtesam Al-Mazui. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but there are interviews with her on YouTube, which I recommend to listen. It's a very exciting project. And as of July 13, the number of downloads was 325. I'm sure it's much more than that now. Everything is growing very fast. So the model, the file, compressed file is 100 gigabytes. The model is available at 7 billion parameters and 40 billion parameters. Mostly people use the bigger model. Well, if you want to run the model locally, you probably better use a CUDA compatible GPU with maybe 48 gig of memory, which will cost about $5,000 to $7,000 if it's new. You also would need like 100 gigabytes of CPU memory. Well, this is the size of the file, right? So at least. So you're talking about computer which may be, I don't know, $7,000 to $10,000. But the benefit is that you can run it locally, use it on your own data, modify it as you wish, keep things private. So this is a big thing that happened with this model. But there are many other models which are close. Just people mostly concentrate on the winner, although the difference between them, if you look at average results on the leaderboard, they're not that like big a difference between like the top 10. And by the way, Llama models here, number 4, 5 is number 3. This is from Meta, from Facebook, and different variations of it. So it has more parameters, well, 65 billion parameters. This is 30, but it's actually winning against them. Very interesting. Anyway, this is example. It's a good video where the person shows how to use this model under the hood. This is a company called H2O. It's a very good machine learning company. They have a lot of open source products. And here you have application, a wrapper, scripts, GitHub, everything to run this model. So providing application easily use LangChain from inside to add your own data. So the main reason to use something like this is privacy, transparency, control, customizations. But you'll see some more examples of how easy it is to use these large language models with your own data. Okay, this is Meta Llama. Well, I already mentioned it. It is open source. It's on the leaderboard. So this is Llama, several variations. It was released earlier this year, and it has 65 billion parameters in the larger version. It occupies some top positions in the leaderboard. And Llama is not abbreviation. It's just a catchy name. So it's animal llama. Uh, People use like large language model Meta AI or Llama language model for applications, but whatever, it's not a real abbreviation. So Llama version 2 is expected soon. Nobody knows when. There is no release date. It is expected to have better accuracy, fluency, reliability, and also different formats. And also it should be multimodal, work with graphics and sound. The second position here, this Caldera AI 30B Lazarus. So this is interesting story. There is no website for Caldera AI, and there is no company. There was intention to create this company, but it never happened. And Caldera AI, the name, uh, is actually trademarked by Ilya Zutskever, who is co-founder and chief scientist at OpenAI. So I would presume that this is his model or like his side project. Anyway, it has 30 billion parameters. It's based on GPT-3. It is fine-tuned using LoRa's, learning objective representations. So it's a new technique. It is very good at question answering, text summarization, code generation, creative writing, translation, and so on. By the way, the word caldera, to just remember, it's Spanish for this what you have after volcano erupted, a bowl-shaped depression that forms after the volcano eruption. Okay, another open source model. So you see, I talk about open source. Microsoft Orca. It was released in June 2023. It's small. It's only 13 billion parameters, so it's 5 times smaller than Llama and 13 plus times smaller than GPT-3. It occupies 26th position on Hugging Face leaderboard. It based on Llama model from Meta, but it also fine-tuned using some special data sets, which includes explanation traces from GPT. And the result is very good quality model in a very small size. And the technique which is used in training is called imitation learning. So there are some links here. And as the model is small, it makes it very attractive for multiple teams to train it. And there are multiple projects. One good project to mention is Open Orca. So these are some links. It looks like it is a major improvement. Next. Oh, Microsoft Cosmos 2. Again, open source. It was just released recently on July 2nd. Code is on GitHub. Model can be downloaded from Hugging Face Transformers repository. So it's a multimodal large language model. It can understand the image and give answers as text or as images. It has in different variations up to 17 billion parameters. Well, it shows the big conversions of language, multimodal perception, action, and word modeling, which is the key to AGI, artificial general intelligence. So here are some links. GPT4 architecture was leaked on some posts which were removed, and then new posts, and then they were removed. And I'm not sure if these links are still active, but once things leak on the internet, it's very difficult to remove them. The main idea is that ChatGPT is more than 10 times larger than GPT-3, so it has approximately 1.8 trillion parameters across 120 layers. Just to remind, GPT-3 had 175 billion, so it's a 0.175 trillion, so it's about 1/10 in number of parameters, and number of layers was 96, and now it is 120. Okay, OpenAI uses a mixture of experts model. So it's not a big monolithic network. It's rather 16 separate networks called experts. Each one is 111 billion parameters. And the main idea of this architecture is to decompose predictive model task into simpler subtasks, each of which is handled by a separate expert. There is a gating network which gets the prompt and then directs um, directs this prompt to corresponding expert. And there maybe they have specializations. Maybe there is a separate expert, for example, for code or for poems, or I don't know. So, well, there was no description in the leaked content what is the specialization of the experts. Costs of GPT-4 is about 3 times more than GPT-3. Estimated cost of training first time when they're using A100s from NVIDIA is about $63 million in 100 days. Nowadays with H100s, it would be about 20 million in about 50 days. So you see that the prices go down fast. It's also interesting how you can, using this mixture of experts, you can make a much more capable model. You can train each expert separately and you can use each expert separately, so you can save a lot of money and resources by using architecture like that. Another piece of news, very exciting, is a new company called XDot AI. It was just announced several days ago, July 12th, and there was a question and answer session on Twitter Spaces with all the main engineers, the team of X.dot AI. Elon Musk was explaining the reasoning for creating this company. So he is concerned with safety, as he was telling multiple times, and he thinks that by creating AI which is truthful and curious and good, like safe and ethical, this is like the best defense against AI. So he wants to create one himself, and so he talks about science and about how you make AI curious and truth-seeking. So usually machine learning models, they train to reduce some sort of discrepancy, some sort of error. So he wants to make a model which will try to decrease discrepancy between the true physics of the world and our understanding of it. For example, talking about physics. Um, so he answered a lot of questions. He said that they will work with other companies like Tesla, sharing resources, sharing results. He believes in open source, and he will use tweets, public tweets, as a training data. This was one of the questions. So it was a long conversation with some very well-known people. The team lead is Igor Babushkin. He was originally in physics, in elementary particles actually, then DeepMind, then OpenAI, and now finally X.AI. Another exciting project is Claude. So first, I want to say about the name. So why Claude? Well, you know, most of AI assistants, they have women's names, but so maybe they just decided to make a man's name. But also maybe it's a Claude Shannon, the father of information theory. Oh, well, there are many other Claudes, but probably let's think about Claude Shannon, right? This is his picture. This is his entropy formula for information, entropy for information. The founders of the company, sort of the two siblings, Dario Amadei and Daniela Amadei. Daniela Amadei, before she started this company, she was a director of research at OpenAI, and so this is actually a company with a very strong research group, and they know what they're doing. And they created a large language model, which now the second version was released. And it is designed to be honest and harmless by design. It's not free, but it's much, much cheaper than GPT-4. And the interesting thing about it, that it can process 100,000 tokens, which is about 75,000 words at once. So you can feed it a long, long text, a document, and in one prompt, and ask it, for example, to summarize or answer questions about this document. So this is amazingly useful tool. Uh, And this version has improved on all different metrics, including coding, but it looks like GPT-4 is still a little bit better at coding. Okay, talking about summarization, if you look at line, there is a lot of different tools which use LLMs under the ground to read the documents and summarize them. So for example, let's say you want to summarize a PDF, you can find many reviews recommending different software. I just collected some of the links. And yeah, so this is in business and in science and in studying, like your personal studying, summarizing a document or a book is a function which is really used a lot, and yeah, it can help you to use one of those tools. Google Bard updates. Well, it's still running a Palm 2 model with 340 billion parameters, which is about twice more than ChatGPT 3, but less than ChatGPT 4, as we know. It's now available in multiple languages in multiple countries, and you can pin and rename conversations for revisiting, easily adjust responses in different style, export code to more places, use images in prompts, and has improved privacy and security. They also announced Search Generative Experience, SGE, which is currently available as an experiment. It's similar to Bing Chat, so this is the screen of how it looks. How to use ChatGPT on your own data using LangChain and OpenAI API. It's all over the place. Everybody is doing approximately the same thing using a LangChain to uh, ask questions about your own data, basically. So here is one of the examples. I just picked it because it's detailed and it has code on GitHub, very easy to use. In this particular case, he takes a PDF file of a book about 7 megabytes in size and then summarizes it, asks questions about it. Everything is done locally, except for it uses API to ChatGPT to actually ask questions, but the data is local and you ask questions about local. So what's happening, this big document is split into pieces, it's stored as latent vectors in your local database, and then like a vector database, and then you can ask questions. Leonardo and I, well, this is one of many services available to do text to image. You know, Midjourney, DALL-E 2. Leonardo AI is actually based on DALL-E 2 under the hood. You get 10 images a month free, and after that, there are payment plans. But anyway, it's one of many, many options. You just Google, you will find many of them. But this is quite frequently like people use it. Stable Doodle, something interesting. So the company Stability AI, as you know, created Stable Diffusion model, which is text to image. But now they created another model, which is sketch to image. So you create a sketch. So this is like a sketch of a cat. And then you give a prompt, like textual description, how you want it to be, and you get a result. And there are different styles, whatever. It's basically like diffusion, but instead of starting only from text, it now uses combination of sketch and text. Uh, very capable. Adobe Gingerbread AI. Well, well, Adobe Gingerbread AI is a new image tool which allows you to add three-dimensional structures into your scene, and it has a lot of controls. This is for designers. It's a very powerful tool. You can create realistic product renders for marketing and development, custom graphics for websites, and so on. ChatGPT code interpreter, a lot about this and how it works. And another one, Use ChatGPT to learn quickly. For students and everybody, it's amazing how you can use ChatGPT effectively to be your mentor, not just to explain, but also to starting with creating a schedule, leading you step by step, giving you summarizations, giving you tests to test how you learn the new stuff, provide resources for you, give exercises to practice, and you can also ask about common mistakes people make in particular subjects, which also may be helpful. That's it. This is the presentation for today, and I will stop the video.